my name is Mimmis Cleeren. I run a marketing consultancy firm called SUNMICO. I'm here today with my consultancy colleague called Pernilla Brouzell. Welcome.
Thank you.
In our careers in the high-tech industry and also as consultants, we have often seen that a lot of clients have difficulty getting a holistic understanding of how marketing, sales, products, leadership and culture all come together in order to effectively build brand and long-term business success. So we're here today to try and shed some light on that and hopefully have a fruitful discussion about how you can accomplish it. Pernilla, your company name is with 4P. When I think about the 4P, and probably many that might have studied international marketing management at university or college think about Philip Kotler and the 4 Ps of marketing. But I think you think of something else. But just to recap, the 4 Ps of marketing management are about product, price, promotion, and place.
Yeah.
But when you talk about 4 Ps, you talk about it in the context of driving sustainable brand and business practices. So,
yeah, primarily from the premises of driving sustainable business. Throughout the years, I've seen so many companies just focusing on the profit. Mm-hmm. You need to have profit, the short-term wins. But what create that profit? So for me, it's more the softer values within the company that really create the value in money and other value as well. So my 4 Ps is from the people, building the company and the culture. It's the performance, what we actually deliver, what we do out there on the market, and most important, how we act together with our customers. So customer focus. If we have great people and a great contact with our customers, the profit will come. And the late years, what we can see also is that sustainability is coming up more and more. So the 4th P is for planet. And not only the environmental part of the planet, but sustainability with a larger perspective, because you can't run a business day without having focus on sustainability. Mm. So that's a 4 P.
Interesting. So you said people and culture, performance, yeah, which is about customer focus and experience,
yeah,
and planet,
yeah.
And what was the 4th P?
And all together it gives you the profit.
Ah, okay.
Because that's what
that's important.
Yeah,
yes.
The profit part. That's what we run the business.
Right. So why don't we dive into a little bit more detail about each of these areas that you mentioned? Since I've worked for many years with marketing and communications, it's often the case that when you think about the long-term brand building, the corporate values should be the same as the brand values as well, and the culture. So you need to make sure that your culture and values also is reflected in how you act in the marketplace, meaning how do you actually implement your brand in practice, not just the look and feel of a brand.
So what you see is actually what you actually get.
Yes, exactly.
As well.
Yeah.
Because I think authenticity and trust, that's kind of also a foundation of doing business nowadays.
I think it's also very important that you have those foundational values set, because that will help you with the long-term direction of the company, how you want to be perceived in the marketplace, what you should stand for. That way it makes it a lot easier for you to consistently develop content and create activities that will portray you in that light and help bring that trust to the market, that you deliver what you say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's to really be grounded in who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
One more point, I think, about people and culture and how it translates to marketing as well is, and branding specifically, is that you have to implement sort of your corporate and brand values also in the way you develop products, in how you create documentation, or how you create your website, or whatever it is, or leadership styles, etc. They're supposed to enforce certain behaviors and of how you want to be perceived in the marketplace. So I think it's that area, people and culture, is should be part of the long-term sustainable journey of your company. And if it isn't, you will have a disjointed, I guess, a disjointed experience of your brand.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's important that you actually take some time to do that homework.
So Pernilla, when we talk about the long-term performance of a company, I actually wanted to talk about the growth phases. I think it's good to tie this discussion back to the different stages of maturity that a company goes through on its growth journey. When I talk to clients, I often deal with like scale-up companies, which is the true kind of fast growth companies. We talk about three different stages: the crawl stage, the walk stage, and the run phase, which kind of symbolizes the different stages of maturity, and that it requires different marketing objectives, different marketing tactics, and also different activities to handle the different stages on a growth journey. But it's also about having a long-term marketing strategy that covers all of the phases, that helps you set the direction for where you're going and help you execute the different steps in the scale-up journey towards sustainable growth. So if we think about the 4 P's of sustainable growth in terms of these 3 stages of a company's growth journey, it's easy to realize that you, in order to be effective in your long-term performance and growth and brand building, you need to have a long-term marketing strategy, but you also need to create objectives and tactics and activities that support each of the stages of the growth journey. And based on a recent discussion you and I had, I created a slide that I wanted to share with the audience. So let's have a quick look at this, and I want to get your point on what is suitable to do during these stages in order to bring about this long-term kind of performance and growth.
Yep, I think it's the crawling phase. What I see is that the companies that have best success when they come to the running phase is the one who started to build the base that we talked about before in the crawl stage. And the most important thing is, I would say, is to set a good vision and objective. Where do we want to take the company?
Yes. So in the crawl phase, then, you put the foundational pieces in place to understand the long-term strategy and goals, maybe put together the target audience analysis, figure out what suitable value proposition you have to meet the problems and needs of those audiences, and figure out the messaging, getting the foundational piece in place for marketing and communication, etc.
And also have that strong business strategy, which you can build the marketing strategy on.
Right, yeah.
So you need to have the focus on getting the customers in, but focus on get the right customers in, and then you need to have the base to build that on.
Yeah.
I would say that in a customer focus, it's a bit different from the crawling phase to the running phase, I would say.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, you need to focus on bringing you need to have customers. You have no customers. You can't focus on your existing customers. And also put silky gloves on and take care of those customers coming in, because they are going to be your ambassadors out on the market.
Yeah. Good point. Okay. So the crawl phase is a lot about foundational pieces and in order to be able to start building awareness.
Yeah.
The next phase then, the walk stage, is when you actually start executing and implementing the nice plans that you've created and start acting on the foundations, so to speak.
And I always say it's also important to evaluate, to take the time, because that's something I see a lot of companies forget to evaluate. They have you start to run almost.
Yes.
You're on your go. And you execute on the plans, and you have deadlines and so on. But to take that time to reflect and to learn from what you do. In the walking phase, you have a customer base. You still need to get that new customers in. Learn from the ones you already have.
Yeah.
To attract new, I would say. But also start to take care of your customers. What upsales can we do? Cross sales. And learn from them. So once again, here's the phase where we can start to do more customer surveys but listen to the customers here. Mm-hmm.
So the walk stage is a lot about starting to execute, listen and learn and measure.
Yeah.
And learn from that, start improving, essentially. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then the next stage, the run stage, is actually when you are able to start scaling up properly and focusing on optimizing and accelerating growth. And this is probably the stage when you already have existing customers, and it's all about nurturing them better to make sure that you get preference and loyalty.
Then you can really do the cross sales. And also what you talked about before, also about automation. You need to have better technology in place and systems.
Right.
So you can make the most of the investments you've done in your customers previously.
Yeah. In that phase, it's also about making sure that you can increase the customer lifetime value, right?
Exactly.
So long term, that's the goal of building a strong brand and supporting the whole customer journey to make sure that you can optimize or maximize, we should say, the customer lifetime value.
Exactly.
Instead of constantly chasing new customers.
Exactly.
So the previous stages have been about awareness, adoption, and then you need to create preference and kind of loyalty. So to summarize, I think this growth journey is all about how do you ensure that you can support the whole customer lifetime journey while working towards the long-term vision and creating sustainable growth for your company. It's not sustainable to try to run before you can walk. You're wasting a lot of time and resources. Yeah. Okay. So the growth journey is a lot about doing the right things for the right people at the right time with the right kind of resources, and that will generate the long-term momentum that you need for business growth. Yeah. We hope you found this discussion useful and that you gained some new ideas for how to drive sustainable marketing and business practices. In the next episode, we will focus on how to balance long-term and short-term activities.
And that's going to be so interesting, because the question we always get when we're out there, we have to wait with the long term because we have short-term deliveries we need to focus on.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. We don't have to build brand. We just need to generate leads or something like that.
So that's what we're going to talk about next time.
Yes, cliffhanger. So if you like this video, like, share and subscribe, and tune in to the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.